Stop looking at the face. Forget the iconic silhouette for a second and zoom all the way in on the right hand. If you look closely at the back of the hand, the veins are visibly raised against the skin, and the tendons running to the fingers are stretched completely taut. Michelangelo achieved this level of biological accuracy through highly illegal means. He spent years secretly dissecting stolen human cadavers, studying exactly how musculature behaves under extreme physical stress. This is a clinical, flawlessly executed record of a human body flooding with pre-battle adrenaline, captured and carved straight into stone. Yet, producing this anatomical marvel required Michelangelo to work with a piece of material that the rest of the art world had entirely written off. The marble was quarried in Carrara in 1464. Two different, highly respected sculptors attempted to carve it, and both of them quit. They declared the block too thin, deeply flawed, and essentially unworkable. It was abandoned in a cathedral workshop, left outside to weather in the harsh elements for more than 25 years. In 1501, a 26-year-old Michelangelo examined the weathered rock and agreed to take the commission. The most universally recognized physical form in human history was dragged out of a rejected piece of garbage. He was notoriously paranoid while he worked. He built heavy wooden fences around his studio to block anyone from peeking, and for 2.5 years he chipped away, sometimes working soaked to the bone in the rain. According to historical lore, he placed a small wax model of his design into a tub of water. As he worked, he slowly drained the water away, sculpting only the exact pieces of anatomy that surfaced, literally liberating the figure from the block layer by layer. Previous artists showed David standing victorious over a severed head. Michelangelo chose the exact opposite approach. He captured the tense, quiet moment right before the violence starts. You can barely even see the weapon. The leather sling is resting calmly over his left shoulder. That quiet weapon encodes the entire philosophy of the era, calculating intellect and steady resolve when battles, outweighing pure brute force. Recently, a Stanford University project mapped the statue using 3D scanning technology and found something surprising. The physical proportions are mathematically wrong. The hands are massive, the head is overly large, and David is subtly cross-eyed. Michelangelo originally designed the piece to be hoisted hundreds of feet into the air, up on the roofline of the Florence Cathedral. This diagram visualizes the extreme upward viewing angle from the street to the top of the cathedral roofline. Because the viewer would be looking drastically upward, Michelangelo intentionally distorted the marble. He factored in the physics of extreme forced perspectives, ensuring the distance would naturally shrink those massive features to normal size. This geometry also applies to his gaze. From that steep angle, those slightly diverging eyes snap into perfect alignment. The authorities ultimately decided the statue was too beautiful to put on a roof, placing it at ground level instead. We've spent 5 centuries staring at brilliant optical corrections frozen out of their intended context. In 1504, Florence was a vulnerable republic constantly threatened by the ousted Medici family and the powerful papacy in Rome. The final placement of the statue was highly tactical. That intense, calculating stare was aimed dead west, looking directly toward Rome. Getting the 6-ton marble block out of the studio required 40 men working for 3 days. They had to demolish an archway just to clear the streets, all while dodging rocks thrown by hostile political factions who hated the Republic. This massive figure served as a physical warning sign to every neighboring power. Florence was small, but entirely ready for a fight. To protect the marble from further damage, officials moved the statue entirely indoors in 1873, laying down actual train rails to relocate it to the Galleria dell'Accademia. The museum itself utilizes deep psychological staging. You walk down a long corridor, passing by Michelangelo's prisoners, roughed-out blocks of stone containing figures that appear physically trapped in the rock. Then, at the end of the hall, David appears. He stands liberated from his stone, bathed in the natural light of a custom-built domed skylight. The entire space operates as an architectural trap. Between the obsessive anatomy, the hidden optical corrections, and the precise theatrical staging, You are now standing directly in front of an object meticulously designed to make it completely impossible to look away.